Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jay and today I'm going to talk to you. Wait, let me finish my coffee. Buzzing. Today I'm going to talk to you about reading like a street writer. Like a writer, not a street writer. What am I chatting about? And I have two very special books to talk about. The first one is Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. Cuckoo, cuckoo. And the next one is Jack Kerouac, On the Road. I'm going to talk a little bit first about the difference between reading fiction, let's say J.K. Rowling Harry Potter, compared to reading something like Jack Kerouac On the Road. When you're reading these two style of books, you're reading them completely different. For example, J.K. Rowling's style, you kind of have to submit yourself to the book and just not think and just flow with the narrative, because she wants to kind of captivate you into this magical world. Whereas On the Road or Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, you kind of have to sit yourself down, strap yourself in like to an electric chair, and devour each line, specifically each line, piece by piece by piece. For example, if you look at my On the Road Jack Kerouac kind of thing, you go through, I've literally like underlined so many lines. And you look how many of these little tabs I have. When I read, I devour a book. Like, literally, as if I've eaten it. And never lend me a book, or someone actually lent me a book the other day. And it was, a small book. It was like $3. And I started writing it in black pen, and they got pretty angry. So, rule of thumb, if you don't want your book marked, don't lend me it, because I will mark it. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, story is, I'm going to talk about Ken Kesey. Ken Kesey's magic charm is he wants to hit you with every single line. Literally, every line is a shocker to the head. The way I read very, very slowly with something like One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, because you can't go full forward. If you're going to be a writer, you kind of want to devour chapter by chapter slowly. For example, how I read one chapter, and I just underline all the lines that I really like. Let's give an example. The way he talks, his wink, his loud talk, his swagger, all remind me of a car salesman or a stock auctioneer. What the Chronics are, or most of us, are machines with flaws inside that can't be repaired. Flaws born in or flaws beaten over so many years of the guy running head on into solid things that by the time the hospital found him, he was bleeding rust in some vacant lot. For me, it's so powerful. He's talking about, so in the hospital, you've got the people who are kind of on the brink of insanity, and then you've got the completely insane. And like the hospital just basically tried to make you more and more insane to kind of keep you. They're very sadistic motherfuckers, really. And the way he writes, like, also if you read him deeply, you can kind of understand his love of machinery. Like the way he describes the big nurse. This line where the big nurse, she gets really angry, and so she really lets herself go, and her painted smile twists, stretches to an open snarl, and she blows up bigger and bigger, big as a tractor, so big I can smell the machinery inside, the way you smell a motor pulling too big a load. Every line hits like a freight train. And that's the beauty of reading something like One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. You're not really reading it for the immersive narrative experience. You're more reading it for the poetic prose. And it's not like la-di-da poetry. It's so gritty and it's so raw that it's taken like a whole meaning of itself. Like, it's beautiful in a rigid, f***ed up sort of way. And that's kind of what I really like about the Beats. And they embrace struggle and suffering. They kind of find beauty in the struggle or in the suffering. And because we all suffer and we all struggle, it's life. I mean, if you don't suffer a struggle, you must be an alien. And instead of like running away from this struggle and suffering, they kind of take it, eat it, and shit it out onto paper. That's really meaningful. And that's what I really like about the Beats, and especially Ken Kesey and even Jack Kerouac. Like Jack Kerouac, he reads fast. But to really understand Jack Kerouac, you've got to read him slowly. So, for example, with On the Road, like, I really recommend read it chapter by chapter and read it very slowly. The first chapter, read it very slowly, underline lots and lots of lines that you love. When you finish that chapter, go back, read it fast, because you've already kind of got an understanding what's going on. So you're in a better position to really understand the flow. So the first time you go through the chapter, you're trying to discover very hitting sentences, which there's a lot in On the Road. The second time you're going around, you're going to discover the flow. And then the third time you're going around, you're going to rewrite passages that you really love. Because when you start rewriting things, you start to get into the minds of the authors and you start to understand why they did what they did, because everything that they write is all mechanically in place. There's always a reason why it's in place. It's always there to set a mood or set a tone. Or if they use one sentence before the other, there's a reason why they do that, because they want to capture the flow. Nowadays, we're living in a world of fast consumption. You know, TikTok, even Instagram, even YouTube. I mean, everything has to be fast, because our attention span is the size of a goldfish, if maybe a bit smaller. The way these people write, they write in an opposite direction of fast. They want you to see their hitters. They want you to see them go line after line, boom, pause, boom, pause, boom, 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 pause. There's kind of a rhythm with these kinds of writing. I think it's important to kind of have, like, you know, On the Road or One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, you know, even Bukowski or Burroughs, Anne Kavan, Kathy Acker, all these kind of writers. They are so amazing to read if you want to study the craft of writing. But I think it's also nice to kind of go a bit to Harry Potter or to Shantaram or to just like kind of very fast narrative, because you can only learn one way to write with these kind of people, you know, whereas if you really want to master the craft of writing that I'm still trying to master, I think it's important to understand the beauty in J.K. Rowling's fast steamrolling immersive experience, but also take on board the carefully crafted lines from Kerouac. Kerouac is a very fast way of writing, but I honestly believe, like, don't read Kerouac fast when you first start reading him. Do chapter, take it slow, embrace every hitter, underline them, go back to the first paragraph, read it fast, go back to the same chapter, write it down. I know it's a very slow process, like, it might sound very boring, but that's the beauty of reading like a writer. It's very different because you're not focusing on the story. You're focusing on the structure and the way it's written and the flow. If you really want to impress and improve your craft of writing, that's what matters. It's the flow. It's not the story. Many people focus on the story. I mean, if you want to be a fiction writer, let's say Stephen King or someone like this, even these people, they still have to go slow sometimes, and they still have to learn the art of hitters. Because every now and again, Stephen King or even J.K. Rowling or even Bill Bryson, there's always hitters in somewhere. There's always hitters somewhere. And they got that from reading literature. You know, everyone wants information fast. They want more information because they feel like if they know more and read more books, they're more smart. And actually, that's complete bullshit. In my personal opinion, you can have someone who's read 200 books, right, in 1 year. And then you've got someone else who's read 20 books in 1 year. You cannot judge who's more well-read by the amount of books that person has read. For example, that person who's read 20 books might be more well-read than a person who read 200. Because when you read 200 books a year, how the hell can you understand 200 books in 1 year? To really understand a book, you've got to read it slowly. I don't know, for me this really works, and it really helps it's helped my writing over the past year. Is read chapter by chapter. Read a chapter, make notes, go back, read it full, and then go back and read paragraphs, and then move on. We're not reading to read as just normal readers when you're reading. If you're reading to be a writer, you kind of reading to understand and deconstruct these authors. And if you can truly understand just 20 books a year, your writing level will go sky high, because you'll have the best of all these amazing authors. You'll know how they write, you'll know how they work, and you'll truly understand their books. If you read their book in, let's say, 2 days, the only thing you've gained is the story. But the thing is, not every book beauty lies in the story. Like the beats. Okay, Jack Kerouac and even Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. I'm not gonna lie, the story's there, but the beauty lies in the journey. And I feel like a lot of the beat writers, they're focused more on the journey than they are the destination. For example, Harry Potter, that's more about the destination. You know, you kind of read that to kind of immersely drive through. But with these people, you're kind of reading as if you're walking through the street and you're looking at different things and everything's starting to make sense to you. It's kind of like you're a flaneur when reading these kind of people. Whereas when you're in Harry Potter, you're on a tram. I just really, really want to push this idea is you don't have to read lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of books to be a good writer. You can read 1,000 books and still be a writer. But if you read just 20 books a year and really dissect them and really understand them, you can become a fantastic writer because you've really taken time. You've stopped, taken a moment, just really read through them, and you'll engulf it. It's kind of like you're just these things are attaching to you like plates of armor. After every book, you've got another piece of armor. You know, you've got another style of writing, another style of power hitting. So yeah, I'm just saying there are different types of ways to read, and to read these kind of books, take it slow. To read J.K. Rowling, you can go very fast with that because that's the whole point of the way she wants you to go. She wants you to go on a tram and look out the window at all the amazing things because that's the way she wants you to go. But these people, I honestly think they want you to go slow and just cherish every hitter, every line they produce. Just kind of engulf it. Yeah, for me, that's how I read. You don't have to do that, but this is just my technique, and it really helps me. My writing has, not to sound like a head, but my writing has blossomed in the past year because I've started doing this method. The best learning is finding something you love. And when you found something you love, you kind of find a way to learn more about it. Your curiosity is your gold. If you've got curiosity in something and you find a way to use this curiosity to learn something, you're going to become fucking good at it. That's the rule. You're not going to become great if you do it because you have to do it. You're only going to become great if you really love what you're learning. And that's the beauty about having your own education. You teach yourself in your own perfect way, in your own specific way that works best for you, how to learn. And by doing that, the world is your oyster. You know, you can do anything. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any comments on how you read, I would love to hear information from you, telling me how you read and what helps you and kind of what books you're reading. I'm literally open to any style of reading and hope to see you again. Anyways, I'm going to do lots of like hand movements until you go away. All right then, have a nice day and see you later. Bye.